In your opinion, is it time that Verwood had its own upper school to save busing children to QE and Ferndown?
I've lived in Verwood for 23 years, and in the whole time that I've lived in the town, we've been promised an upper school. It will happen. The core strategy that's going through at the moment has a large amount of development for both the West Parley area and the Cllr Wimborne area. That extra development will put pressure on both Ferndown and QE upper schools, which will then put pressure on those children that access the schools from further away, for example Verwood, Alder, Holt, Cranbourne and so on. And it's that new development that is coming forward over the next 20 years that will finally give us the critical mass to enable to provide the secondary provision. The land is already allocated and bought by the County Council for many, many years. It is there, it's ready. As soon as we know we have the right numbers, we'll then be able to start planning what that provision will look like.
Excellent. In light of the tragic accident on the back roads with a school bus and a mini last week where a driver was actually killed, what are your views on the safety of busing children around today in country roads?
Busing children to school is a reflection of the sort of terrain that we live in. If you live in a rural area, you have to have transport to get children to school.
Yes.
The whole issue about school transport is there is a large number of children that get transported to school every day, and it's something like 19,000 pupils every day are transported to school, and there are very rarely accidents that happen, but as we found out last week, when they do happen they can be very tragic, and certainly my thoughts, I know the thoughts of everyone that was involved on the day, do go out to the driver of the car that died. The issue since has been, should we be having seatbelts?
Yes, I thought that would come up.
If you have a coach doing a journey, coaches by law must have seatbelts, and they have to be marked by pictograms on the windows, and by law you're supposed to wear those seatbelts.
It can be quite hard at times to persuade children, especially people from other schools on the bus, to be able to wear them. Definitely. So I think maybe you believe there's more of a campaign to raise awareness.
There definitely needs to be, and that's part of the investigation that the County Council will be doing as part of its research into what happened and the lessons that could be learned from the incident. But of course it's not just coaches that are used, because of the vast numbers of people that are transported, even on mainstream bus services, for example the Woods and Dorset bus, and I can't just pick I say one at random, but the one that I'm most aware of is the X6 that runs from Poole to Verwood, out to Ringwood and back down to Bournemouth. Double-decker bus, no seatbelts. It's travelling quite long distances.
Yes.
And because there are not the number of coaches and specialist school buses available, as part of the procurement, the County Council will speak to normal bus companies, and we will use commercial buses for part of our school routes. Those buses do not have seatbelts fitted, and that is something that we will be looking at, but I would be concerned about the difficulties of trying to insist on having seatbelts fitted on vehicles that are not intended for that purpose.
Yes.
And it is part of the difficulty and challenge that you have in trying to provide a level of service right across a very large rural area.